and I said the 3 words to her that you should never say to a girl. Not I love you. Hey, watch this. Back in 2011, I was accepted to the United States Military Academy as a West Point cadet. I'd already been saving up to go to college myself, but again, because West Point is taxpayer paid, I now had a college savings fund and nothing to use it for. I decided I was gonna buy a car, which I know is a depreciating asset, but I love cars, love driving, and I figured that's what I wanted to spend my money on. So at the time, I was looking around at a few different cars, but they had just unveiled the new 2014 C7 Corvette. And I knew right away, just from looking at it, the stats, everything about the engineering, that this was the car I was gonna get. So I did what any unreasonable person would do, and I blew my college savings fund on a brand new 2014 Corvette Stingray. Love the car, handled amazing, engine was great, drove incredibly well, was an awesome GT car as well as a sports car. However, my particular car had a ton of issues. Right from the get-go, I was experiencing a bunch of electrical failures, but that wasn't the only problem. I would take that in, they would say it would be fixed within an hour or so, and then I would be on my way. The biggest problem with that car was I started having issues with the engine control module. So the car would throw itself into limp mode randomly. There were several instances in which I was on the highway doing about 80, 85, and suddenly the car would throw itself into limp mode, wouldn't let the car go above 45 miles an hour, wouldn't rev above 3,000 RPM. And it was getting dangerous to the point where I almost got into several accidents because of this. Tried to claim lemon law, ended up going through this whole process back and forth with GM. And it got to the point where I was actually having to start to get people that I knew at GM and in the auto industry involved to try and get them to hear my case. Finally, right before I ended up actually deploying to the Middle East, they actually said, you know, okay, we understand what happened with your car. Your lemon law case, you know, we'll accept it. You can return the car. We can either give you a new car of you know, equal value, or, you know, we can give you a full refund. Well, at the time, I didn't know if I was going to get another Corvette or what. So I was like, I'll just take the full refund on the car. And while I was away, I had no car. Again, I had a check from a Corvette, so I had all this money that I was saving up. And I needed to get a new car for when I came back. So I started looking around, figuring out what exactly it was that I was gonna get for my next car. I was looking at a couple different things. Originally, I had thought about getting another Corvette. And they originally had told me, we're sorry for what happened. We'll give you GM employee pricing on your next car. I said, great. I went to go order a Grand Sport, which had just come out at the time. Literally the day that I was actually gonna place a deposit down for the car for when I got back, they said, sorry, we can't actually give you GM employee pricing. I kind of was upset that they'd gone back on their word, so I decided, okay, I'm not gonna buy another Chevy. Ended up finally setting on like my 5th choice pick, which was a BMW 340i. Put a $1,000 deposit down, and they said it'll be back and ready by the time I had come back to the United States in El Paso, where I was stationed at Fort Bliss. It's about 3 weeks before I'm supposed to be back in the US, and I'm calling them, checking on the tracker, and it's still saying that it's on a ship. And it's not even in the US yet. And I'm like, hey, is it gonna be ready? Is it gonna be there by the time I get back? They're like, yeah, don't worry about it. About a week later, still not in the US. Finally arrives in the US, but still at the port in Baltimore, and I'm only a few days away. So I'm asking them, like, is it gonna be there in El Paso by the time I get back? They're like, yeah, don't worry about it. Finally get back from 9 months in the Middle East, show up at the BMW dealership. I was like, hey, when are you expecting to get my car in? And they're like, no idea, should be soon. Can't be too long. I was like, okay, well, I know I ordered it about 4 months ago, so it would be here in about 2-3 months. Is there any way in the meantime, you know, could I get a loaner car? Could I get some kind of, you know, a rental or something like that? They said, no, we can't do that. And again, they were just being very rude about it. They were like, oh, it's worth the wait. It's the ultimate driving machine. I'm like, all right. I've only put a deposit down. I haven't paid for the full car yet. I'm just gonna go look around. Said I wasn't gonna buy a new Chevy, but I drive by the same Chevy dealership in El Paso that I had actually dropped my Corvette off when I sold it back to GM. And sitting out front was a brand new 2017 Camaro ZL1, you know, 5th gen. And I'd been hearing a lot about this car. Again, it had the LT4 engine from the Corvette Z06, you know, 650 horsepower, 650 foot-pounds of torque. People were saying it handles incredibly well. It's just about as good of a track car as it is, you know, something for the drag strip. Just an amazing Camaro. Never really was into Camaros that much. I don't consider myself a muscle car kind of guy, but I was intrigued by it. And I sent a message to one of the guys I knew over there, and I said, hey, you know, I don't know if you remember me from last year. I sold the Corvette back to you. I'm looking to buy a new car. Is there any way I could maybe come in tomorrow and test drive one of these new ZL1s. And he says, well, we don't normally do test drives, but we know your situation. We know you used to have a Corvette, that you're interested. You could buy one of these. So coming tomorrow, our finance director bought the first one that came in like a few weeks ago. He can give you a test drive. So I was like, okay, great. They're like, by the way, we have a blue one coming in tomorrow. The blue one's the one I wanted. So show up to the dealership, meet up with the finance director. We get in the blue 2017 ZL1 they had there. He takes it out. There's a highway on-ramp about 500 feet away from where the dealership is, and he just goes, hey, watch this, and guns it. And we're doing probably about a good speed by the time we actually get on the highway. And at that point, I'm laughing so hard. I'm enjoying it that I'm beginning to realize, okay, I need to get one of these. I looked at the price and I looked at the performance and I was like, okay, I have to get one of these. He let me drive it around the block a little bit, and it was an impulse buy, a very big impulse buy, but I decided, okay, this is the one I'm gonna get. Right away, I didn't wanna say I'm buying the car. I said, okay, I'll think about it. Ended up speaking to some of the people at GM that I'd talked to previously about my last car. They decided, okay, we can actually give you employee pricing on a car because of what happened with your Lemon. We're very sorry about that. And at that point, it was kind of a done deal. So I called back, let him know I was interested, and he said, okay, we need to come down here and hurry up because there's 5 other people trying to buy it right now, but they're all waiting to hear back from their banks if they're getting approved for a loan. Ran down, wrote the check, bought the car, had it the next day. Super excited. Fast forward about a month. Car's still new. I started dating someone, and we decided that we were gonna go for a vacation in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is about 6 hours away from El Paso. So do a little road trip. Pack the car, set out in the morning, decided we're gonna start making our way to Scottsdale. Now, I-10 out there, there's very little traffic. Even during rush hour, even during the holiday season, it's a very open area. There's even very few speed traps. I learned from my Corvette that I needed to get a radar detector from a few speeding tickets with that, so finally had a radar detector now. Thought I was safe. And I'm enjoying a nice drive, just cruising 80, 90 miles an hour, which is pretty typical out there. It was a windy day that day, and as I'm approaching a small town of Wilcox, Arizona, wind really starts to pick up, and I'm noticing there's a tractor trailer that we're approaching, swerving all over the road. Felt it would be a good idea to pass him and just leave him behind me. Nothing was showing up on my radar detector. Didn't really see anywhere around there might be any speed traps or anything like that. Figured it was safe, just pass him. But again, I've been dating this girl now for a few weeks, trying to impress her a little bit. I enjoy opening the car up from time to time. It's, again, 650 horsepower. I'm 25 years old. Gonna enjoy myself a little bit. And I said the 3 words to her that you should never say to a girl. Not I love you. Hey, watch this. Downshift into 3rd, pull over to the left lane, and I just floored it. And I'm hard on the accelerator there for a few seconds. But at this point, I'm doing a pretty good clip. About 140, maybe I think I saw 145 there for a split second. But at this point, I'm approaching an underpass. And as I'm doing about 145, still full on acceleration, all of a sudden my radar detector instantly, full blast. And at that same instant, out of the corner of my eye, right by one of the pillars in the underpass, I see a patrol car. I had 2 thoughts instantly. I thought, 1, gun it and just run. I was like, I'll just bring this car up to 180, there's no traffic. And the other was 2, I'm a military officer. I should do the right thing and just pull over. Because there's no other cars on the road, there's nowhere else to escape. I'm kind of just caught at this point. I'm like, it's about to be a very bad day for me. That same instant, his lights already go on. So I just immediately slow down, pull over, see him come up behind me. I look over my girlfriend at the time and I'm like, hey, hope you can drive a manual because I'm probably about to be in handcuffs here in a second on my way to jail. Officer opens his door, starts walking up to the car. I thought he would have had guns out or something like that, but he seems pretty calm. Comes up, approaches my door. I've already got my license registration out. As he approaches, I'm sitting there, officer, like I'm so sorry. And before I could even finish that, he looks down and he goes, oh, is this the new ZL1? Kind of shocked there for a second. I thought I was about to get reamed out or arrested or something like that. Yes, officer, it is. I was, oh, it's the first one I've seen on the road. He's like, these things are sick. I'm shocked at this point. I did not expect things to be going as well as they were going, considering the fact that I just committed a felony. I was like, yes, officer, had it about a month. It's still new. I was like, officer, look, I'm so sorry. Tractor trailer was swerving all over the road. I just wanted to pass him. I know I did not need to be going that fast. It was a little bit too lead-footed. I apologize. And he goes, that's okay. He's like, look, I know you could be going way faster. He's like, honestly, I didn't even see your license plate. You were going so fast. He's like, you probably could have ran and I would never have gotten you. It's a weird thing to admit, but okay. Happy I can help officer again. Very sorry. And he goes, look, I was going to pull over that tractor trailer when I saw him swerving all over the road. He goes, but I clocked you doing 140. Kind of had to pull you over. It's like, I understand, officer. He's like, are you military? You saw my haircut. Saw my military ID sitting there in his license. I was like, yes, sir, I am. I was like, I actually just got back from deployment. This is what I got with it. And he goes, oh, okay. Runs back to the car, and I'm sitting there. I'm thinking, like, I need to contact a lawyer. This is going to be bad. I was like, I'm going to lose my license here. Panicking. It's just not a good day for me. Officer comes back up. He's like, hey, look, really appreciate you being honest. Appreciate you pulling over right away. He's like, I'm going to drop this down to 99. So it's no longer a felony. Thank you, officer. I appreciate that. Hands me back my information. I have a ticket. I essentially got away with murder. But after about 9 months of having that car with how tempting it was to speed, I got rid of it and bought an Accord because I just couldn't risk having that happen again.
We'd like to thank the Ticket Clinic for sponsoring this month of VINwiki Car Stories. If you get a ticket, no matter where it happens, it can have disastrous effects on your insurance premiums, points on your license, and possible suspension. So it's very important to find a lawyer that's local to wherever you got the ticket. The Ticket Clinic is a national law firm with headquarters in Florida and Texas, but affiliates everywhere, and they can help you fight a ticket and achieve the best possible outcome. They kept me out of jail in Arkansas last year, they've helped tons of my friends, and they can help you too. So visit their link in the description below for a discount.